An asset in the Unity editor is different from a game object. Assets are all the parts we bring in or create here in the project window that we'll bring into our scene to make up our game level or our whole game. We've got different kinds of assets we can bring in. For example, we can bring in audio. I'll go into the audio folder and into effects, and we can see in here, shown by their waveform icons, the different sounds that go with the game. For example, here's a lightning zap, and I'll select it and press play. That's an effect that's going to go on the lightning zap we'll use in the game. We've got our other weapons in here, and also the hurt sounds and so forth. When we go under music, we can see we've got our background music, and this is the one we'll be using, custom created for this game. I'll press play, and we can hear this longer backing track. Assets show up in the inspector when they're selected. What we see on the assets are the different settings for import. For example, on this sound, decompress on load, the compression format, quality, and so forth. When we go pick other things like our characters, and I'll pick the elephant for example, we'll see the model settings. When we brought this in, imported it in, how did it come across? It came across with a scale of 1 in the model, mesh optimization is on, and generate colliders is off. When we look at things like the rig, we can see rig settings. What kind of animation type is it coming in with? And finally, in the animations, if it came in with animations, how many frames are they and what settings do they have? In this case, we've got 300 frames here of the elephant jumping, turning, and looking around. In this case, the animator has included with this elephant all the different animations separated by a bit of space or blank frames. So later, we can go and take this apart, making it into clips and setting up our states in the animator window. Other assets that'll come in might include materials, for example. We've got our dog material, and this is the working material applied to the dog. It's a standard shader here, using a metallic smoothness workflow, where how metal and how smooth this object is determines how shiny and how much reflection we see. We're also seeing in this case that some assets come in together. In this case, we've got the model, its material, and the textures that were on it, importing all at once and showing up here in this materials folder. If we look in our environment models, we've got similar things. We have our dollhouse, and these are FBX files. We have our drawers, the chest of drawers here. We've got our fire truck, and so on. And I'll go to the model button, model area here in the inspector, and look at the model. There's the fire truck, and it's ready for whatever tuning we'd like to do in the settings and application of material. The big difference again in assets is that assets exist in the project window, and we can pull assets into the scene. In this case, we've seen a elephant and a zombear pulled into this scratch or working scene here to test their heights. I've dragged them in, and now they've become game objects here with a transform, as different from an asset. Scripts are assets as well. We can make scripts right here from the project window by right-clicking and choosing Create, and these are assets we can make. We can make shaders, C# scripts, Java scripts, and so forth. All these are different assets we'll attach to an object as a component possibly, or bring into the game and use as a game object. As an example, here in our ally script, we've got two C# scripts, recognizable by their icon, C#, and when we select a script here in the Assets in the Project window, we see a preview of it in the inspector. This has any public variables showing, the animator and the NavMesh agent, and we can see the start of the script in here. If we double-click on it, it'll open in MonoDevelop, the integrated development environment that comes with Unity. Unity can import many different kinds of files, so it's important to stay organized while you're bringing these in. There's already a structure here, as we brought this whole folder structure in from the Assets store, but we'll do some additional organization to make sure we can really find everything as we need. A scene is also an asset. We can make a new scene here by right-clicking and choosing Create and Scene. We can call scenes up as part of our level, loading scenes as we need, maybe in a transition moment, and this will let us cut down the amount of things actually in one scene, optimizing that part of the game for gameplay. There's all kinds of assets we can bring in, and these will all show up as separate named files in the Assets folder in the Unity project we've created. What this means is that we can organize them here, and we can also drag folders or separate files into those folders in our Finder or our Windows Explorer and pull them in or download them from the asset store. Then we'll put them in our game, and they'll be part of that scene we save.